Could the mere act of appreciation get rid of jealousy? I was repeating the reel that I posted yesterday on jealousy, on that for you to get rid of jealousy, you merely have to appreciate it for what it is. And it made more and more sense, and ultimately makes the most sense for me. And so, what does it mean to merely have appreciation, and because of appreciation, get rid of jealousy entirely? Is that even possible? My intention for this video is to relay to you, communicate to you that for you to get rid of jealousy, you merely have to appreciate it. What does it mean to appreciate? What is jealousy? How to get rid of jealousy? And ultimately, why to get rid of jealousy? And how do you get rid of it entirely? You're watching me, Roan John. I am an open relationships expert with 13 plus years of dating relationship consulting. I'm the head trainer at Great Relationships University. I own the #1 Tantra therapy in Las Vegas. And I want to welcome you in watching today's video. My intention is that you get rid of your jealousy. So I'm going to divide it in several parts. The #1 part is, why is it important for you to get rid of jealousy? The reason why you need to get rid of jealousy is because jealousy has nothing to do with love. If your intention, and actually there's really never any reason for you to have jealousy at all, anywhere, in anything. In fact, you've heard of the word enlightenment, and I've defined it on yesterday's video. Enlightenment is merely your enlightening yourself, from unburdening yourself, from being unwitting, meaning more and more knowledge, unburdens you from lack of knowledge, from being unwitting. Learning how things work, especially particularly in the area of relationship, is the most critical, because most of people's suffering comes from their ideas of relationships and how it's practiced, and never questioning, why do we practice it in this way? Why don't I practice it in other ways? Why this makes sense rather than this? And the more clarity you have, I like to say that clarity is enlightenment. Because the more you understand something, it unburdens you. But first, things will unsettle you. A lot of things that unburden you will unsettle you because you have an ego. We all do. It's merely a byproduct of language. And the unsettling bit is recognizing that we've lived all our lives, recognizing that relationships are one particular way, when in fact, there's better ways to practice relationships, and ultimately, there's ways of practicing relationships which deny jealousy. My question for you is this, and I want you to think about this. Is it possible for you to have a relationship, to practice relationships, without any jealousy at all? I want you to imagine a relationship, your relationship now or your relationships in the future, wherein there is absolutely zero jealousy, not because you try harder to get rid of it, but because you no longer try to get rid of it. It's entirely a relationship which not only denies jealousy, but has no need for it and no requisite for it, and merits not having any jealousy. I want you to imagine that. I want you to imagine how happy, what kind of relationship that would be. Once you get that relationship in your mind, you recognize that most of the problems that you have, other than money problems, financial problems, which could be fixed with recognizing what agreements you have and rearranging those agreements and setting things in place, you recognize that most people, the reason why finances is a huge problem for most of relationships is because individuals have problems managing their relationships. It just goes to show you that finances in general is not a relationship dilemma. Finances is a personal problem which most people never endeavor to manage. So aside from that, most of the problems and the anger and the challenges of relationships come from jealousy. You get rid of that entirely, you have amazing, entirely incredible relationships. I want to show you also how I practice my relationships so that it has absolutely zero jealousy. So what is jealousy? Jealousy is a compound emotion, not a primary one. When I say primary emotion, people imagine that, hey, I'm born with jealousy. No, you're only actually born with two primary emotions: love and fear. they say. So love, your happiness, is coming from love. And your fear, you only truly have four primary fears that you're born with. Fear of loud noises, fear of falling, fear of pain, and I forgot the other one. Fear of loud noises, fear of pain, and fear of falling. Those are the primal pains that primal fears that you have when you're born. And you get over every single one. Those are the primary fears. Remember, if you never got over fear of loud noises, you'd never go into a club. If you never got over fear of falling, no one would be jumping off of planes with a bag of silk in their back. You get over all of your fears. Do you savvy? You can get over every single one of your fears. Fear is different from danger. Danger is when you recognize something as risk management, and the risk management is an all-time extreme where you say, hey, if I endeavor in this, I'll probably get killed. It's probably fatal as a result. And there are fears which have no bearing. Strictly, the only reason it exists is in your mind. It's created in your mind, it merely exists in your mind, and it ruminates in your mind. The word ruminate means to repeat over and over. You keep thinking about it. The more you think about something, the bigger it gets. The less you think about something, the less it ruminates in your mind, the more insignificant it becomes. So going back, jealousy is not a primary emotion. Jealousy is not a part of relationships. Some people say, hey, jealousy is required, is a demonstration of love. I want you to really think about that. People actually believe, hey, I used to believe it. You hear a lot of people say it. Jealousy is part of a loving relationship. Do you think that? So I want you to recognize jealousy for what it is. Jealousy is a compounded emotion, not a primary one. It's a compound emotion of two emotions, which is fear of loss and the rage from feeling that fear of loss. That is what jealousy is. It's your fear of losing someone, and then the rage you inherently feel because you fear losing that person. So what is appreciation? Appreciation, people think is gratitude. It's thankfulness. Appreciation is actually, when you look at the definition of appreciation, is you're recognizing and understanding something for what it is. To appreciate something, you appreciate right now that you are watching a video and enlightening yourself on how to get rid of jealousy. I appreciate that you're watching this. It's not you're saying that thank you for that I'm thankful that I'm learning how to get rid of jealousy. You're saying that you understand that you're learning how to get rid of jealousy. And I understand that you're watching this video. So it's understanding rather than being thankful. So what I mean by appreciation, merely the act of appreciation helps you get rid of jealousy entirely. What I mean is this. When you understand what jealousy is, you can get rid of it. Here's why. It's because all of your emotions, all of it, every single one, non-stop, full stop I mean, every single one of your emotions are caused from your brain. They are from your brain, they are from your thoughts. I want you to think about this. When you change your thoughts, you change your emotions. I want to give you an example. I want you to recognize that, I want you to think that there is actually a couple of cockroaches crawling inside of your shirt. They crawled up from your leg and inside of your shirt. And you can now feel their tiny little legs. There's, I don't know how many legs they have, but they have little sharp ends. And you can feel them crawling up your back and up your neck. Some of you who have a particular thing about insects or bugs will have a surge of emotion feeling right now. Or perhaps if we were just to hang out and I say, hey, look, watch out, behind you, there's a snake. And it wasn't because there was a snake there, or it wasn't because there was a cockroach there that you made a reaction, that created a reaction from you. It's because I implanted thoughts in your brain. Emotions come from thoughts. When you change the way you think, when you change your thoughts, I want you to remember that not all of your thoughts are conscious. A lot of your thoughts are subconscious, under your consciousness. And so, when you change your thoughts, you change how you feel. You can change your thoughts now. You can create your feeling. You can create a depressive environment for you, or you can create an uplifting environment for you, or a motivational environment for you, or perhaps you can find inspiration and then create motivation. Remember the difference, inspiration versus motivation. Inspiration is what you get from outside. Motivation is your motive. It comes from inside. Never get motivation from outside. And so, have I made the distinction clearly that appreciation, understanding, and thoughts is what creates your emotion? So recognizing, beginning with, the axiomatic idea that your emotions come from the way you think, most of which are unconscious to you, some of which are conscious. Richard Bandler once said that you process about 2.4 million bits of information at any one moment, a couple of which, 7 to 11 of which you process consciously. I should look at that ratio, 7 versus 2.4 million, 7 of which you pay attention with your conscious mind, 2.4 million of which you don't process with your conscious mind. Think about that. So while you can't truly focus on the things that you think about, a lot of your thoughts, you can certainly choose your thoughts as they come up. And then you recognize the thought for what it is, and then you say, that doesn't make sense, get rid of it. So when you recognize jealousy, that jealousy is actually fear of loss, and then the rage from feeling that fear of loss, and then it has nothing to do with a loving relationship, everything to do with yourself, everything you do with your fears, then you recognize, hey, once I cure my fear, once I get rid of my fear, because remember, you can get over all of your fears. You can get over every single one of your fears. It doesn't matter whether you were raped as a child. It doesn't matter whether you had a traumatic event as a child. It doesn't matter whether something happened to you where you made some sense of things and then you made it as a protective mechanism in your brain, and then you grew up with it all along your adulthood, using it even though it's not useful at all. It was merely useful because you had to create something in your mind to protect yourself from or to escape reality. Despite that, you can introspect, manage your thoughts, and recognize which ones are useful, which ones are not, or get inspiration from other thoughts. This is actually how you learn. This is a process of learning. In essence, your brain is merely a learning machine. Do you know the most trainable of all animals, most programmable of all animals are those with larger brains? The least programmable of which are those that react only by instinct, which have the smaller brains. Aside from that, so recognizing that you can get rid of all your fears, you can get rid of jealousy. But why would you want to get rid of jealousy? It's because it has nothing to do with having a loving relationship. Unburden yourself from the suffering from being unwitting of what jealousy actually is, and enlighten yourself with the knowledge that relationships require no jealousy, and your emotions simply come from your thoughts, your anger, your jealousy, whatever pain you're feeling, you're suffering, you're causing yourself. Get rid of it entirely by changing your thoughts, and the thought that you need to change for yourself is that jealousy is merely fear of loss, and then the rage you inherently feel, you subsequently feel because you have that fear of loss. Get rid of that fear of loss and recognize that because you love your beloved, you can never force them to be with you. What are you going to do? Prevent them from doing things that they like with people they like for the rest of their life, and manage them and not let them go out, and not let them go out with people that are good looking, better looking, or potentially better in bed than you? Better yet, Encourage them to pursue those things. Encourage them to pursue avenues in which they can enjoy with people they like, admire, and adore. And hopefully they find romantically, sexually attractive. When they come back to you is when you recognize, hey, they're with me because out of all their options, they're with me. I'm going to end this video here, and I want you to visit a couple of our sponsors for this video. Number one is BlockFi. BlockFi is an amazing, as you know, I am a huge proponent for Bitcoin because of what it is, what it propagates, the idea behind its not being centrally governed by the government. It's wholly decentralized. It goes on, it perpetuates with or without any of us participating in it. It's going to continue to proliferate. And the BlockFi, the company, is essentially a bank in cyberspace, a company owned by very, very smart individuals. They're your cryptocurrency, your Bitcoin, for example, and your US dollars or whatever money you have, your dollars, your money is backed up with the top holder, the top facility that holds cryptocurrency. Gemini is the number one facility that holds cryptocurrency, so you can rely that your cryptocurrency is safe. But they just came out with a credit card. They're actually coming out with it. I'm on the waiting list myself. That gives you, instead of 1.5% cash back every single year, every single month, they give you that in Bitcoins. And Bitcoin is the number one asset to be had in 2021 and really all the years previous and beyond. You can use it as currency, or you could use it as a store of wealth, such as gold is. And for you to get that, get on the waiting list, go on the link in my below this video, click that link and put your email and you'll be on the waiting list. It's not my company, it's a sponsor for this video. And my other sponsor I want you to visit that will help you tremendously in your endeavors to increase your development in relationships is greatrelationshipsu.com, the letter u.com. Check it out. Find out what they have, 12 plus hours of online course on relationships, communication, social dynamics, and a lot of things that will really, really enlighten you and unburden you. I'll talk to you on the next video. Leave a comment below. If you aren't already subscribed to my channel, subscribe. I come out with videos every single day. And comment below what you think about jealousy and how perhaps this might have enlightened you and unburdened you. Talk to you soon. Bye.